Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Battle of Mincio River with me, Dave Pumphouse. I'm bringing you back to the Kriegspiel, ladies and gentlemen. It's about time we had an update, and this update, I am very sorry to say, is a little bittersweet. Quite frankly, the game has now been called. It was a decision between the umpire and the players to maybe just put a pin in this one, put it down to a learning curve for everybody involved. Everyone said that, more or less, people had a nice time, and it was just one of those things where we didn't think we could continue. But that's just the way things go sometimes. When you're playing a game like this, whether it's an RPG or some kind of thing, life gets in the way, and certain communication barriers and stuff occur, which is unfortunate. But as I said, it's a bittersweet one because I have some news. I kind of asked for a brief rundown for everybody involved, really. For you, the viewers that I know have asked me on streams and stuff about how it's going. So let's get into it. Really, I have some quotes from the umpire, and I'm sure he won't mind me sharing them with you. We'll get to the juicier parts first. As we left it at 3:30 last time, we were making an attack against these disorganized divisions. As the game has stopped, it was coming up to 4 o'clock. It's February in Europe. Sundown will be just past 6 p.m. We could safely assume that the game would only have 2 hours to go anyway. I think I have to be honest. I'm not trying to be biased in any way. I think this Austrian corps is shot. I think there's nothing it could do against the force that was brought to bear against it. We had Schmitz and the rest of them, with Royer coming round, smashing through Volta. Not much resistance that could have happened. I think in 2 hours this would have fled back, rolled up. If they didn't retreat the way we're looking to the left, the Austrians that is, they would have been pushed down the road, maybe up against the river. It just would have just wheeled. I don't see how any Austrians could have offered any more resistance to that. Maybe some of them would have been pushed this way. It's a total possibility, but with the bulk of our force ordered to push this way, the flow would have just gone this way. And I think, as I stated a couple of videos back, the Austrians would have been pushed to the river, as our little video showed, maybe there's been some environmental changes in since 200 years since the battle occurred, but it's not a huge major river. You could swim across it, so any Austrians that weren't captured or killed would have fled across the river, and any eagle-eyed viewers that have made it through to this moment would probably see there's something going on over here, and well, you'd be wrong. the umpire has, I quote, called it a Mexican standoff. Well, a silly Mexican standoff is how he put it into Discord. The French just had to push along the river, and they would have taken the hill from the flank, sweeping the entire artillery in the process. The Austrians couldn't do a thing, as the entire force would be on the opposite side and blocking one another. So I took that information and I painted a picture. Now, the orders that I couldn't fully divulge in the videos, in case there was any Austrians watching. I don't think there actually was in the end, but I know I was there when the orders were given. These guys on this side were ordered to come to this town, so Gazzola, and make their way to take this bridge. That's what they were told to do, and that's what they were doing. The umpire says that they were at the time of the game ending, so the sun is going down over those hills in northern Italy. They were travelling along the road obliquely against the Austrian artillery. It might have swiveled, but my imagination and the information that I was given by the umpire, they were out of range. Whether that means that they were in defilade against these big old heavy cannons here that the Austrians put, we don't know. There was also apparently a dragoon skirmish, and that was the only combat that was seen by an entire corps on this side. It was a tumbleweed, the umpire said. I spent months wondering what those Italians and the rest of the French were up to. Turns out they weren't up to a lot. Simple as that. I guess that's why some people were just like, I have no idea what's going on. My guys haven't fired. They've just been marching all day. And granted, it did take us quite a while to get where we got, and would have been the same for the Italians. And that's the way I envisaged it to be. The other corps on the other side of the hill, to the left of cannons, causing a traffic jam. An entire corps, 2 corps even. Didn't even see action. But we can say that in 2 hours, this corps, if they hadn't of this dotted line here, that's what the umpire Hethwil was saying. They would have just marched up the hill. They could have taken the Austrian artillery, any resistance, maybe set up a few firing lines in the hills on top, the vineyards and stuff. But they weren't ordered to do it. They were just ordered to march, take the bridge. And as I said, in those 2 hours, these guys would have rolled up, pushed them to the river, killed or captured a bunch of Austrians, wiped out an entire Austrian corps. I mean, you can come to your own conclusions. Some Austrians maybe would have been able to escape, find a ford across the river. I genuinely think that's probably what would have happened had we played till sundown. Yeah, there's not much more to say. 2 armies would have camped either side of the river. The French would have camped, rested amongst the town of Volta. The Austrians sitting at Valeggio. Pickets would have been put in the forest. French pickets, maybe some cavalry, some of our beleaguered dragoons, maybe even some of the Italian Royal Dragoons across the river, ordered to maybe make it to Monzambano. Billet, take the bridge. The French mission was to secure 2 bridges. We could have secured a avenue of retreat if we sent our cavalry back, which I advised Eugene to do. So a tactical victory, as the umpire called it, but a operational victory for the Austrians. Unless, I mean, I have to think it's an Austrian defeat if the battle would have gone the way I'm thinking it's gone, and with the little information that I was working on, I think my guesses so far have been pretty good. At least 75-80% there, I would guess, and that's it. But I rattled on a bit too long, because as one story ends, another begins. Let me tell you about it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting my own Kriegspiel. It was always going to happen, wasn't it? I have designed a map. There might be a few tweaks to put in. It looks like the last few tweaks that I did didn't fully save, but this is broadly speaking the map that we're going to deal with. I have posted an advert for this game. We have 3 confirmed players out of 8 already, and some people may be looking at, what the hell is this? What is this battle? Oh, it's not a big one. It's not a well-known one. It is the siege, or what would have been the siege, but we're going to do the preceding battle to the siege of Colchester in the English Civil War. It's not a big battle by any means. It's going to be obviously the Royalists versus the Parliamentarians. You got Lord Fairfax versus the Earl of Norwich. And this is the map that I designed. It is as historically accurate as I could make it. I literally took the map of the siege, and as it was drawn in the papers, and the map that the British Library has, and the order of battle as it was written down, as best as I could. And I've got the regiments and the cavalry and everything, and the buildings that were built at the time. And we're going to play a battle that for years I've been quite interested in getting to know, and I've done my research, and I've just been like, it's a pretty interesting battle, and it's going to be here on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. So watch out for that one. It's just a little showcase, and as soon as we get the full 8 players, there's still 5 spots left. So if you come across this video and you fancy giving it a go, stick your hand up in the comments, and we'll get you in. And that's that. See you when it happens, people. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. It's going to be an exciting little experiment for the channel. See you soon.